Right, so today I need to talk about this Maxime Bernier Say No to Mass Immigration billboard kind of controversy or non controversy, I would say, in that a third party, like independent company, or I don't know exactly who it would be, but they had no affiliation with the People's Party of Canada or Maxime Bernier, put up these Say No to Mass Immigration billboards in I think about 4 or 5 cities across Canada, and it sparked a little bit of backlash. Like I said, most of it I think is just because the media virtue signaling, but and the main reason why I consider it just mainstream media or leftist virtue signaling is that the overwhelming majority of Canadians don't want mass immigration. I've made a video about it before. I can pull it up again if we need to, but I think the number is about 6 or 7%. I know it was in the single digits of Canadians that want immigration increased, and the Liberal government is planning on increasing immigration. The Conservative government, you can't nail them down on a number, so I would guess that they're either going to increase it or at the very least keep it the same, which is already much higher than it was under the Harper government. So the main point of this video is that this is just another example of the mainstream media and thus the majority of the population overreacting to this. Like I said, the overwhelming majority of the public agrees they don't want mass immigration. And it's not because they're racist, it's number one because if you're on the right, mass immigration goes against your own self-interest because um, people from the third world tend to vote left, which means the more people that come in from the third world, the less likely your wants and needs are to be fulfilled in upcoming elections. And if you're on the left, you should be against it because, number one, mass immigration generally is for low skilled jobs, which are going to take away from the poor, blacks, or um, minorities that the left tends to claim they care about so much when they really don't. But that's kind of another issue in and of itself. The whole point of it being, number one, the whoever put these up really shouldn't have caved to pressure. I'm not sure, again, I don't know exactly who it was. I know they have to put who it was on the billboards, but I don't know. I don't remember who it was, and I didn't recognize who it was when I first read about it. So this is kind of a. I'm honestly surprised that it wasn't a little bit more of a story, but it was still a pretty big story. And I think Bernier puts it right in that he blames the totalitarian leftist mob for a decision to scrap billboards against mass immigration. And that's really what it is. The left is totalitarian and they act like mobs because their solution to everything is collectivism. In other words, mob rule. I mean, when you put it in terms of collectivism or socialism, it sounds good, but um, when you put it in terms of mob rule, then it doesn't sound quite as good all of a sudden. So, and the left really is totalitarian. I mean, if you're for free speech, then you need to be for people being able to put up a billboard like this and not be up in arms and having your panties in a knot or whatever you want to call it. Because again, if your opinions and if your beliefs are based in reality, are based in truth, then it shouldn't matter what people put up to that apparently opposes you or whatever. The reason the left always claims hate speech or racism or all this kind of stuff, I mean, most people on the right know this, but it needs to be repeated because not enough people know it, is that they can't win the argument, they can't win the debate. And if you want to go out and claim, oh, the right isn't perfect, well, yeah, I don't think a lot of people dispute that, but the fact that the right is still that much better than the left when they're clearly not perfect says a whole lot in my mind. So this is a pretty big issue, and the election's less than 2 months away. The Liberals have had scandal after scandal. The Conservatives are too milk toasts and boring vanilla kind of way of running a campaign to win. Like the Conservatives in Canada should, like if Maxime Bernier was leading the Conservatives, they'd be up by 15-20% on the Liberals. Like I think they'd win by 100 seats. Like that, maybe, I don't know, maybe 100, maybe 50, but they would win by a lot. Like they would have a pretty clear majority. And because the sheer conservatives, you can never pin them down on anything. They cave to pressures, all this kind of stuff. I don't think they'll lose, but I think they'll probably become a minority government, and chances are it's the Liberals and or the NDP and or the Greens that are going to hold the balance of power, which means whatever the left wants, the left is going to get. So that's kind of the story of things nowadays, is what the left wants, the left gets, because the left is willing to do whatever it takes. Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. I know Hillary Clinton's praised him before, and I'm sure Justin Trudeau knows a thing or two about him. Is that, there's many things they say in rules for radicals, but one of the big ones is, hold other people to their standards and use that against them. And we have no standards, so we know that if we can hold other people to high standards when all along we have no standards, we're probably going to win. The other one too would be not from there, but I believe it was Ayn Rand that says it. It was, in any long-standing debate or issue in society, the more consistent position will always come out on top. And the left they're wrong about the overwhelming majority of the stuff they say, but they're consistent. They don't change their minds. If anything, they double down. That's kind of the leftist position, is when in trouble, double down. The right is to cow and to admit fault when most of the time it's not your fault, all that kind of stuff. So I'll leave it there. I just thought I'd make a video about this because this is a pretty big story in Canada right now. So if you liked the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.